Welcome back, everybody, to the final part of our Jack of all trades run. It's been a long time coming. I've been kind of putting this off. I've had this done for a couple weeks now. I just haven't had the energy to to edit this. But yeah, here we are. We end up starting Act 3 by trying to help the Emperor. He's a little bit of a sneaky snake with trying to trick us as our dream guardian the entire campaign, but that's fine because we're gonna just have to help him with these monk Githyanki anyways. But it's fine. We'll get past these problems. They almost actually end up beating me multiple times, but thanks to my own pro gamer skills and my almost unlimited supply of healing potions from just going to vendors the entire game, yeah, we get through it. After defeating the Githyanki, we have to basically talk to the Emperor over who are you, what happened, why are you here, who's that guy in the cage. And I think any new player would probably be a little suspicious about this. Unfortunately, having played this game as many times as I have, I'm a little spoiled, I guess you could say. But with his backstory, we find out that he was one of the reasons why Baldur's Gate is as big as it was. He was trapped by the Elder Brain after being turned into a Mind Flayer, betrayed by Gortash. And you know what? I get it. I understand. I would hate Gortash and the Absolute 2 if I was him. I personally wouldn't want to be a Mind Flayer myself. But after ignoring him and spamming through his dialogue, we end up going to the jungle after stealing from the genie and then beating him at his own game, who he's just a big fat cheater. But, whatever. After dealing with the dinosaurs and getting our trident, we actually go and try to enjoy ourselves. We take a little break. We decide, let's go see Dribbles the Clown and his goodest of boys, that little dog. He does pick us out of everybody in the crowd, which makes me feel so good and special. I can't believe he wanted me to come up on stage and just listen to his tricks, but I get embarrassed and I end up attacking him because I'm a scared little cat, and I just murder him and his dog and his little friends too, and I'm not sorry for it. I'm just not never gonna be sorry for it. What am I supposed to be sorry for? Watch me kick the dog and miss. And because of my trauma kicking the dog, I end up having nightmares about my father and my sister and how evil she is and how I need to take over the family business over her because I'm the true favorite of our god. But all in due time, one step. I gotta prove to everybody just how cool I am. After how disgusted I was with these terrible nightmares and my horrible time at the state fair, I decided, you know what, I need to get a new career. I want to go be an exterminator and just fight all these rats, which kind of scared me back into adventuring. So I decided to go fight some Githyanki who just completely waste my time. I was streaming at this point, and when I say this fight was probably maybe 2 hours long, I'm not kidding. It took me forever because they just kept coming out of portals and just kept attacking me. So then I decided, all right, I'm gonna go get another job as a plumber. So I go to get a job in the sewers. And what happens? I get attacked by a bunch of grease balls and fire methods. And I think, okay, clearly I'm in the wrong career path because I just need to stick as an adventurer because I cannot handle any job outside of adventuring. I gave it one last try to get a real job outside of adventuring, so I decided to visit the Drunken Mermaid to try and visit one of my favorite people in the whole world, Auntie Ethel, who, by the way, is pregnant. So this time I decided, I could be a doctor. I can help her give birth. I end up talking to her. I give her all the coaching I possibly can, which then turns into her being mean to me, and then I get angry because she doesn't want to take my advice. So then she gets her little army of midgets to attack me, which is a little scary, I won't lie, but I don't know. Just, wouldn't you be scared if a bunch of midgets attacked you? Or, dwarves attacked you? It's a little weird with them having red hats, but it's okay. After my trauma of being attacked by midgets and dwarves, I decided, you know what, let's go find a support group. We could talk to people, get to know them, and unfortunately, it turns out that this is not the best support group for me. I just don't even understand why I can't get actual support or help from anybody, because we end up fighting a bunch of Auntie Ethel's friends who end up having a bunch of crabs help them out, who then end up removing the other support group members from the equation. So it's just me fighting a bunch of crabs who actually almost beat me up and take me down. So I end up going through a bunch of my best potions because for some reason they get the best rolls imaginable and cannot be me. After dealing with that terrible support group, I decide I need to face my trauma head on. So I run off to go fight Ethel herself and deal with my past trauma, which unfortunately ends up taking out a bunch of other people who are in need of a support group. So at this point, I'm a level 11, and I don't even think about the mushrooms. I have no way of destroying any of them without any actual help. The mushrooms have about 100 health, or maybe more than 100, but you need to deal a lot of damage in one turn to get rid of them, and you can't. There's just nothing you can do. So I end up trying a few times. I end up going back to it after trying to level up, but there's just no way for me to do enough damage by myself. So I figured, all right, it's okay. We'll go make some new friends. We'll try to level up to level 12. I end up fighting the zombies in the park, or the cemetery, which, dude, that Death Shepherd I cannot get rid of on my own. So I end up running into town, hoping and praying the fist will come to my aid and help me, because I just can't do it, man. I can't do it, dude. I just can't. Like, I even run and I find a steel watch, and the steel watch does nothing. It stands there until actual Fire Fists decide, oh, hey, is that person being attacked by the dead? Yeah, maybe we should get involved. I then had the bright idea, since we're so close to XP, I'll go fight those kobolds who hang out in the graveyard, which then turns to the Fire Fist after I, seeing me loot somebody who attacks me to join in, which then turns into this giant Royal Rumble of me fighting for my life through the cemetery into the streets until new Fire Fist join in and they start attacking the kobolds. And I'm just on the run for dear safety. Finally, Lorroakan is just ripe for the taking to get me to the exact amount of XP I need to hit level 12 and get my paladin, because at this point I have every class except for basically Paladin. So I get Dame Aelin to back me up. We talk to Mr. Lorroakan. He wants to imprison her, big shock and surprise. He wants to be immortal. And the fight isn't really that difficult. Somehow Dame Aelin just gets completely destroyed throughout the fight and dies somehow. It's not permanent, but for the meantime. But we enough booming blades, we're able to finish him off, and then we get to finish him off with our Eldritch Blast, which finally brings us to level 12. Finally, the most useless class in this challenge run. But as I'm about to level up, the cutscene with Dame Aelin cuts. So I go back and I take Oath of Vengeance. I don't know really why I decided to go with that. I wanted Oath of Vengeance, but Oath of Ancients was also really tempting. So I had to sit there for a little bit, and I was asking my chat would Oath of Crown be okay? Would Oath of Devotion be okay? But someone talked me into Oath of Devotion, or Oath of Ancients, my bad. Since I was teaming up with Gortash at this point, I decided to try and figure out where this little dwarf was so I can stop him from murdering everybody, so that I could take credit and so I can team up with Bhaal. He actually ends up kicking my butt. I actually had to do this fight, I think 2 or 3 times, because he kept paralyzing me and I just couldn't do anything, which we end up winning. And we had to talk to our boy Severok, who I don't know next time I do this run if I'll be teaming up with him again, because being evil is cool, but doesn't really have the best advantages as to being good and getting everything you want or need. You know, we have to just beat the crap out of this little celestial elephant, which is a little sad. You know, I didn't want to, but let's just become Bhaal's unholy assassin. So now we finally have everything we need to go talk to our little sister, Orin, and just beat her butt. After fighting all of Orin's simps, we actually finally make our way into the temple, and we fight her over and over again. She hurts, she's strong, she does a lot of damage, and this actually took me, I want to say, like maybe 6 or 7 attempts. For this point, I literally leveled up Halsin just so that he could have some kind of like help, because he isn't connected to us, and he ended up doing absolutely nothing. But with Orin gone, we are now the chosen of Bhaal with no rivalry or anything, and it's fine. We then get access to Power Word Kill, which any enemy with 100 HP or less, we could just one-shot them and they're done at the cost of an action, which is more than fine, which I end up using on a pretty lame target eventually because I was struggling towards the end. I forgot just how difficult it was doing this challenge alone at the very end, because I don't know, I've had a lot of trouble recording and doing challenges lately, so finally getting to this point in the game was kind of difficult. Not really challenge wise, but just pushing myself through it, but I still managed to do it at the very end, and I'm proud of myself for that. I then give word to the local boy toy of the city about Orin being, you know, out of commissions, and I forgot what dialogue he had to pick, so I had to talk to him twice, and it just did not go well. I ended up talking about like, oh, you know, we got rid of Orin, and I ended up having, I think it was 3 10s in a row trying to talk to him on our insight. We couldn't really figure out what it was. And, you know, Gortash was like, oh, give me the stones, give me the stones. You know, I had to study him, I had to figure out what his intentions were, which, honestly, I don't really like Gortash, so I don't really care what his intentions are, you know? I ended up at first giving him the nether stones, which ended up having all his little cronies attack me. But then that's, I'm going to say, no, we got to do it together, it'll be fine. He was like, you know what, I agree with you, son. I like you, Cap G. Getting into the final part of Act 3, we decide it's over. We're in the end game now. We need to go beat this nether brain. And I won't lie, I was very hyped for this moment. I filled my pockets with a ton of explosive barrels, took a hill giant potion, and it's time. We need to blow up that brain. I am not confident in my own abilities to take that brain out on my own. So if I can do anything, it's gonna be this. We're gonna blow that boy up, and I don't care what anyone says. It's what I'm gonna do. After meeting up with Gortash again, we end up, you know, getting ready to encounter the big brain, which is the most terrifying thing because of that 99 roll, which, ooh, it's terrifying. But Gortash has a little bit of doubt in his soul, which I won't even lie. I would have doubt in my soul too if someone who was a jack of all trades, 1 level in every class, wanted to get involved and help out. But we team up, kind of like Power Rangers. You know, we show off our stones, and we try to get the brain to come out of the water because it's just a big baby and it doesn't want to come out. But thankfully the stones combine, kind of like the Chaos Emeralds if you think about it, like from Sonic. But, you know, he stands back, he lets us do our thing. I won't even lie, it took me multiple attempts because I'm pretty sure I only had maybe 1 inspiration at this point, maybe 2. I don't remember exactly, but we sat here for a while trying to get a nat 20 through each of these, or just passing the checks so that we can take care of the nether brain, because taking away a little bit of its health is gonna be a big help, because I'm not talented enough for that yet. Ooh, no. But yeah, nether brain checks passed. We failed multiple times, but we eventually passed. Regardless, though, Gortash does not make it through this, and we have to just move on without him. which, sorry not sorry, I don't care. Here it is, the final countdown. We let the Emperor do his thing. He ate Orpheus, because I'm not going to become a Mind Flayer. I can't. I'm too pretty for that. I understand it's definitely helpful and just strong to become one, and I definitely use way too many tadpoles. But if I'm going to look good, I gotta be evil. I gotta be evil looking good. Does that make sense? No, it does not. But that's fine. We got this. The Nether Brain ends up destroying a big chunk of Baldur's Gate, which I don't really appreciate. We end up actually sneaking through most of the combat because it would have taken way too long. And I was at the point of this run that I just wanted to get past everything and just, you know, I didn't want to keep fighting and have all these long bouts because we did not have that many allies to team up with. We had only Dame Aelin, and I forget, we had some city guard, I think it was, but we just kept sneaking by, and we got through it, which was, you know, fun. It was nice to just not have to do an encounter. Finally encountering the brain, the Emperor and I do the very best we can to take this thing out. It ends up being not too long of a struggle. The Emperor does like a really big decent chunk. I get left outside of the portal, so we only get like 1 or 2 turns without me actually being able to help. The other Mind Flayers don't really like me, so they're not exactly gonna let me just walk in normally, but this is why I carry all the barrels on me, all the explosives. I just want to be done with this thing. At this point, I was like, okay, we gotta be done. We gotta end this. Thankfully, we can just fly over, and this gives me the confidence I need to just, you know, give it a little punchy punch. It's not everything we can do, but I have to end my turn. So when we have only 3 turns left, we'll be able to just finish the brain off. But I was panicking a little bit because I forgot just how hard this brain hits. It hits like a freaking truck. Finally, it's time, what I've been wanting to do for a long time. We gotta put my plan into effect. We just drop all these barrels right in front of the brain and then fly away the best we can. I have my little fireball, which goes boom in the night. Does almost enough to finish it off, but that's why we did those checks earlier, and then we can let the Emperor finish the brain off, and it's G money for us. Look at that, the beauty. With the brain submitting to our power, I was faced with a little bit of a dilemma. Do I want to be good and let the Emperor finish the brain off? Do I take the power for myself? I don't know. I've never been this evil with power in my life. And thinking about it, why not do something a little different? Let's claim the absolute for myself. So I go to town gutting the Emperor, and you know what? I had a good time doing it. It was fun. I'm not the biggest fan of him, and I just liked seeing the life go from his eyes. Look at that. Ooh. So yeah, we chose the evil run, but hey, I really appreciate everybody for sticking around and watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, leave a little comment down below on what I can do to improve my commentary, or what kind of challenge run you'd like to see next. But I'm out. Peace.